Good morning. Guess what I'm making today? My favorite beet and potato salad. And this is the salad that taught me to like beets because I didn't used to like them at all. I hated them. But now I love them. And this is how they're fixed. These are some of my leftover cooked potato wedges. I don't have quantities for this recipe. It's more like proportions. And I use equal parts potatoes and beets. There we go. All cut up. They're close enough. I'm not going to worry about it, you know. It's not fancy. It's just chopped up a little bit. These were Yukon Gold potatoes, but I find red potatoes work nicely for this as well. Use whatever you have on hand. And then I have some already cooked beets. These are cold beets from yesterday. And I'm just adding what looks like the right amount. I'll stick them all in there. I love this recipe. I will eat it up until it's gone. Now, potatoes, beets. I like to add some fresh raw onion to this. I'm using red onion today, which I am using all the time now, red onion, because I have found out how many more nutrients are in red onion over yellow and white onion. Red onion has a lot more nutrients. So I use that, and I use red cabbage over green cabbage now when I can get it. Now this is a chopped dill pickle. If you're a Gerson person, you can't have dill pickles. There's too much salt in them, okay? But for anyone else, or someone who's following a Mary's Mini, you can have the dill pickles chopped up in this. It does add a nice flavor, okay? This is all the pickle I had left in my container, so that's all I'm getting. I normally would put in more than that, but that. Now, the option is, if you're a Gerson person, you can add in some dried chopped onion, the minced onion. You can add in some dill weed to give it some flavor. You can add in some garlic powder, and you can use equal portions of vinegar and water to make a light dressing and stir that all up together, and it makes a delicious salad. I am preparing it for myself, no longer Gerson. I'm adding some pepper, just because pepper's fun and it adds some flavor. And I'm gonna add a little pickle juice. Not much, because I don't want all that salt, but I'm just gonna add a little bit. Just gives it a little flavor. If it needs something else, I'll give it regular vinegar after that. But it's just such a tasty combination. Who knew? There we go. And that's it. Look how easy that was. And this is a delicious salad. It really is. It's got a lot of healthy, good things in it. I hope you give this a try today.
I don't know about you, but it was really pretty out today, and I got out for a walk, and it was nice being in the sunshine. And I have to say, in the almost 10 years that we've lived here, I've never seen so many people out walking. I think people were, because we're all home now, we're needing to get some sunshine. We need to do something. It was amazing, the number of people walking around our neighborhood, and it was nice to greet everybody. We were all pretty happy to see another face. Even though I didn't know anyone, that didn't matter. It was good to see people. So anyhow, just a short little lesson today. As you know, I've been working through Galatians, and I got to Galatians chapter 5, verse 1. And it reads, I'm going to read it first to you in the King James. Stand fast, therefore, in the liberty wherewith Christ hath made us free, and be not entangled again with the yoke of bondage. And I'm going to read it to you also in the New International, okay? It is for freedom that Christ has set us free. Stand firm then, and do not let yourselves be burdened again by a yoke of slavery. And it doesn't seem confusing or too complex. He's saying, you know, Christ has set us free, and we're to keep that freedom, stand in that freedom. Don't lose it. Don't let yourself be burdened again by the yoke of slavery. And the yoke of slavery he's talking about is legalism and looking at following certain, he's actually talking about circumcision, that he's talking about being pulled back into the Jewish law. Not circumcision, yes, but he means something bigger than that too. He means the Jewish law. Don't find yourself pulled back into that once you've been set free from all these rules and regulations that were supposed to save you. But what was interesting, so as you know, I've mentioned, I go through and I look up the different words in the concordance that allows me to go to the Greek to see what a fuller meaning of the words are, because our our English language can be rather limited at times. So when I looked up the word stand, because it says stand fast, which means to stand fast means to stay firm in the English language. But when I looked it up in Greek, it meant to persevere. And I thought that was interesting, because to persevere is more than just standing in place. To persevere is a proactive movement. It's movement. It's even though it says stand fast, it's like standing fast to not. If you were playing king of the mountain, and you were on the top of the hill, you want to stand fast against everything that's trying to pull you down, and you have to continue doing it. And that's where perseverance comes in. You have to keep doing it. So you have to keep working at keeping your liberty, at keeping your freedom, so that you don't get entangled. And I think that's a good point, because that's, we may not be necessarily being pulled back into laws and regulations, but what other freedoms have we got? We've got freedom from fear, we've got freedom from unforgiveness, freedom from bitterness, freedom from doubt, all these things that we have freedom, but we have to persevere to keep that freedom, because it's the enemy wants to keep pulling us back into those negative thoughts. And we don't want to agree with him. We don't want to allow ourselves to go down that rabbit trail, do we? So we need to persevere. And I just thought that was good to know that this is more proactive. We're not just standing and letting things happen. We actually have to fight it, because when you're playing king of the mountain and you're up there and people are trying to knock you down and take you down, you don't just stand there. You actually have to work to keep them off of you and to keep them from pulling you down. And I think that's the best analogy that I can find to explain that we need to persevere to get and keep our freedom in Christ. Right up there, right? All right, that's it. Good little lesson for today, and we'll see you tomorrow.